Good evening. I think it's 1st of December. I don't see it on the screen here anywhere, but I'm quite sure it is. It was a warm day in Vernon, BC. I think it was close to 40 above. Clear blue sky today. Very nice day. Amazing, actually. We're building roads out of Desert Cove, which I'm always interested in doing. I mean, I never thought I'd be doing that at my age, but I'm still doing it. Building roads and subdivisions. Well, anyway, somebody's got to do it. So I think it's be my last kick at the cat, I'm quite sure. 67 lots. It's quite a few. That's the wind up of the whole deal of Desert Cove that I started 32 years ago. And it will end up, they're all sold, and it'll be 450 homes there. That's a little bigger than Hay Lakes, where I came from. You know, quite a thing. All these people moving in from all over, just from all over. A lot of them from Vernon, but a lot of them from the coast, Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatchewan, down east too, some, but yes, a lot of them. Anyway, I've been fooling around with Alexa. I've got Alexas all over the place here, and I like them.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
So you know, there's a lot of music, tons and tons. That's Gerald Wolfe, who has a bunch of things called Hymn Sing, Atlanta, Georgia. I sure like how he puts it together. It does pretty good. I think he plays mostly in big churches and big, choirs. 50 to 75 in a choir and an orchestra, and of course, everyone in the place sings. I'd like to put on something like that sometime, but I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I can't see it happening, actually, no matter how I'd like to do it. But, well, so much for that. We'll have to call that pretty good now, unless we have another one just a little later. I don't know. But I wanted to talk quickly about something. And that is, I mean, people are going to say, well, you're racist, you're this, you're that, everything. I don't know. People say things like that. It has to do with Indians and Indian tribes and reserves. I was reading the article by this guy, and I mean, I didn't come up with this on my own. I read it, and I thought about it, and I had to kind of think there was something to it. And he says that the Indians have, for hundreds and hundreds of years, actually, since the white race has had anything to do with them and recorded things, it's always been that the Indians tribes, especially in the more modern times, in the last 100 years or 150 or 200 years, they were relegated to reserves, right, in the United States and in Canada. And basically, they had to get some guarantee. They were here first. That's one thing. But they were only here. They weren't possessors. They were occupiers. They'd been occupying for 1,000 years. They just roamed around from one place to another. They never developed a thing. And to be honest, it seems to me like the whole blinking thing was set aside for the white race, which is, I guess, the 10 tribes of Israel who finally got the promise that God promised Abraham. Land and holdings and all this stuff, and this stuff looks to me like, North America, Australia, and whatever, just held in reserve all this time. But here's what this guy is saying. He said that the white race got the Bible. There was no Bible, originally. And the Old Testament came along, and then the New Testament came along. And Christ came, was crucified, died for everybody, and did all this. And he did it for all the people in the world, and especially the 10 tribes of Israel, or the 12 tribes of Israel. That's not finished yet. That's not settled yet. The Jews don't agree. But they will. But anyway, what he was talking about the Indians was God has a set of rules or regulations or laws that are not changeable. And he says they're not changeable because everything he does is right, correct, nothing wrong, never does anything wrong. And he has laid down these rules to operate for the people that he created. But one of the things is in pagan culture, they believe in stones, birds, trees, bears, whatever. God says, no, you don't do that. You don't worship the creature, you worship the creator. But they don't do that. And this guy writing the article says that the Indians basically practice witchcraft and have for a long time. Witch doctors, they call them witch doctors. And that is a definite no-no with God's great plans or whatever. Says no to that. Absolutely no. And you could become cursed for that. Now he says if that's the case, the Indians have been living under a curse for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And he said that's what's holding them back, nothing else. And because he said it's a shame that they are now so dependent on government and money and welfare and whatever else. He said that they'll complain that they don't have any water, but not one of them would pick up a shovel and dig a well. He said that's not the case. The white man would dig a well. And he did. But he says the reason is, and I've been working on a reserve for the last 32 years. And I can tell you that I have nothing against them, really, but I certainly know and understand that they are different. They are totally different. They're a different race of people. And the white race is usually dumber than, whatever. Wants to treat them equals and whatever. And they are basically equals, but they're different. They can't be treated and expected to be the same. So the one thing, he said, if they were basically converted, he said, to get away from witchcraft and all this pagan mystery stuff and sweat lodges and hot latches and everything. And he said they would most likely They would be blessed, he said. They would do well, but they don't. And if somebody's got a better idea why, I don't know. I'm not saying this is 100% true or right, but it certainly is something to think about, because the one thing they do on the reserves, which is, to me, it's wrong, it's totally wrong, is incest. And there's all kinds of incest, even on the reserve where I'm at. Just, I don't understand that. I mean, how it's in their makeup. They don't seem to think anything of that, and you know, huh. And you can tell that it breaks down their gene pool, and they get not good. Well, I don't know. So much for that. I hope so. I hope there would be some way that could be remedied. That they could actually, you know, get out of this thing. Like out here on the west side, they were given most likely the best farmland in the country, all around the lake, flat areas along the lake, black dirt 3 feet thick, and they won't farm it. They will not farm it. They want to lease it out and get big money, stay home, which just maybe that's good. But they shouldn't have been given that kind of land. They should have been given bushland or rangeland or something, because they don't want to farm. They want to hunt, fish, and that's it. That's the stupidity of government. Ah, no use to talk about it. It will never improve. It's just going to get worse. It's a bad thing to say, but it's most likely very true. I've seen a lot of things get, degraded, going down, 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 down. And I guess it's not there yet, or we'd have been at the end of our age. I can't sometimes believe that God allows it to get just worse and worse. And I think it's a way that he makes it so that it's going to be so bad that he can basically say to the world, you were given a chance and this is what you did. So I had to basically stop it, call an end to it. And I'm positive that every single thing you read in the paper was planned. God knew it was going to happen, and he planned it eons ago. And I mean, it's hard to think that could happen, but what we don't understand sometimes is how great God is. I mean, he is unlimited. I often wonder how strong God has to be in character to control that kind of power. He puts limits on himself, on his power. In a lot of cases, before he does something, he wants people to ask him, pray to him, and ask in the right way. He doesn't just do it normally. He does sometimes, but not normally. He says, pray, ask for it. Keep praying, asking. Yes, I know. But I think it's worth it. It's worth it to ask. Yes. Well, I think I'm going to maybe try one more thing here. One, what can I do here? Oh, shuffle players. Oh, yeah.
We'll sing and shout the victory. Let's sing it together.
Lousy, lousy. How did I lose that? Echo. Go to Spotify.
Here's Spotify.
Well, so much for that. I should talk about that for a second. I don't believe anyone's going to go to heaven. I don't think you are. I don't think I am. And I think that because Jesus Christ said so. Not my idea. He plainly said that the only one who's going to heaven is the one who came from heaven. And he says, you will sleep with your fathers until resurrection day. And heaven is coming to the planet Earth. Eventually, the city of God is going to descend on the planet Earth, and that's going to be heaven is where God is, where God the Father is, and He will be here. So I don't know where the church has got that from. They just missed that page. I don't know. You know, I kind of think sometimes there's so many denominations of churches, but I think most of them are 20 and 50s. I think that. I believe what Jesus said totally, 100%, every word. I believe the Bible is absolutely correct. Nothing is wrong. It's God's word. God is perfect. He doesn't make mistakes. We make mistakes. God doesn't. We watch everybody else make mistakes and we say, he made a mistake. Well, I'll tell you, we all make mistakes. Totally. Totally. Anyway, I would say if that's the case, I would have to say, glory to his name.
Glory to his name. Down on the cross. I'm so wondrously saved from sin. Jesus, so sweetly ours within him. There at the cross where it took me in. Glory to his name. Glory to oh, precious fountain that saves from sin. I am so glad I have it There Jesus saves me and keeps me free. Glory to his name. Thanks in my heart. Thanks in my heart.
That was a pretty good one. How about this one? Power in the Blood. Everybody knows that one, doesn't it?
There's power in blood. Would you be free? Let's see. Would you be free? Would you be
Yeah. Power, blood, blood. Power, power,
How would you be free from your passion and pride? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Come put into Calvary's tide. There's wonderful power in the blood. Would you be wider, much wider than snow? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Sin stains are lost in its life-giving flow. There's wonderful power in the blood. Would you be service for Jesus your King? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you take his praises to sing? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. With power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power. Wonder-working power in the precious blood. Well, we'll call that good for tonight. You know, if they'd have sang songs like that in church, I think I'd still be going to church. But they didn't. Anyway, God bless and goodbye.